Hello, welcome to Mifflin County Library's E-Yarn Club. Today we are going to make an I-cord bracelet. First we have to make the I-cord maker. So for that you're going to need a cardboard tube, wooden craft sticks, double-sided tape, and duct tape. You can use a tube of any kind. Let's grab a button here that we're going to use for our bracelet. So this is the tube we're going to use, just from a roll of toilet paper. I'm going to use the flat craft sticks, but you can use the rounded. So you'll need 4 craft sticks. This is a smaller version with the rounded sticks that I used from the center part of a elastic spool. And I just taped the round sticks on the outside. So we'll attach the double-sided tape to the bottom part of the craft sticks. I'll speed this up just a little bit. Okay, now take the backing off the double-sided tape and affix it to the tubey, making sure you have at least an inch of the craft stick above the rim of the tube. You're going to add the other 3 sticks, making sure that you are getting them as even as possible. The double-sided tape isn't necessary, but it does help to keep everything in place when you go to wrap the duct tape around the tube. Now we'll put the duct tape around the tube. It doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to make everything stick together so you don't lose anything when you're making your I-cord. Okay, there you go. There's your I-cord maker. Okay, now you will need your yarn, and you make the first loop and put it over the end of the first stick. And then put the tail of the yarn down inside the center of the tube. You will hold on to that with the hand that you will be holding on to the tube with. And then begin to make sure you have just enough space, looseness, so things don't get too tight. And you will wrap yarn around each stick twice. And then hold the excess yarn down so it stays nice and taut. Take the bottom row and lift it up over top of the stick. And then continue doing that for the next ones. Sometimes the first 2 rows can be difficult, but they get easier as you get the hang of it. I'm using a yarn hook here to put the yarn over top, you can use your fingers, you can use a crochet hook, you can do it however you find easier. So just continue on doing the same thing. And see how easy it is to use your fingers to lift the bottom row up. And then you pull it tight from the bottom and continue wrapping the yarn around the sticks. Here's how you can use a crochet hook. Sometimes it can feel like it's a little bit tight, but be patient. Don't pull too tight or make anything real loose, or your stitches will be uneven. So now you can just continue on doing the same thing. And pull it tight after each stitch. And this is a project that can be done while you're sitting watching TV, while you're listening to a good audiobook from Overdrive, or just want something to do with your fingers. This is also a great project you can use with the little ones. And because there's really no special equipment, you can pretty much make everything from items you have around the house. I'm going to show you a couple of more rows, and then I am going to skip along until I have a longer cord. I have between 20 and 24 inch length to make the bracelet. Use the circumference of your wrist and multiply that by 4 and add 1 inch. That should give you the ideal length for your bracelet. And you'll notice it gets easier the longer you do this. You can start seeing the stitches show up. It takes a very short time to start seeing results. Make sure you keep lots of excess yarn so you don't get bound up. And look, you can already see the makings of the bracelet. So now we're going to skip over until we're done. So I have about 24 inches for my bracelet. And now I'm going to take the cord off. So when you take one layer off, one loop off, you want to loop another piece of yarn through that from the end of the cord, and do that with each loop as you take it off of the stick. And once you get all four off, pull the cord out, and you'll see the big loop at the end and all the excess yarn. So now leave several inches of yarn and then trim off the end. Put the end of the yarn through the loop and pull it tight. And this will make the end of the bracelet secure. And then you take both ends from one side to the other. You're going to attach them together. Just like so. Make a loop and knot it together. And make sure you pull it really tight so it doesn't come loose. And do an extra knot. And pull that tight. Now you have a larger cord all wrapped in a circle. You can even use this as a necklace. Then you will fold that to just over half, because you want to have excess cord for your buttonhole. And that will be the buttonhole there. So you put that over top where you're at, wrap some of the excess yarn around and loop it through and pull tight. And do another loop and pull tight. There, pull it really tight. Okay, so now you have the buttonhole on the one side, and you'll have 4 strands now that connect down to the end. This is where you're going to put your button, it's on the other end. So cut a string about 12 inches. It's always good to have a little bit of extra just in case. And now we're going to string up the button. With this button, I am folding the string in half because I have 2 slits to put it through. So I'm going to loop that around and tighten it up. And pull the cord through and tighten. And then I'm going to loop it around because it's a wider slit. I'm going to loop the yarn around several times so it has a better look. You can use different buttons. You can use buttons without the holes in the button with the attachment on the back. It is up to you. So you just make sure that everything looks nice. And then you're going to get ready to tie it around the end opposite your buttonhole. Okay, there you go. Tie it around. Just use a couple of granny knots and pull tight. And this will hold very well. And then you'll just need to make sure you have everything really, really tight, and then trim off the excess. And you're almost done. I'm going to wind this a couple more times just to make sure it is very secure. You don't want it coming apart. And again, make everything nice and tight. And then separate the two cords and tie a couple of granny knots. And again, make sure everything is pulled tight. And then you're going to trim the excess from that. And now you have an I-cord bracelet. There's the buttonhole, and the end is the button. And then you just, plop your button up and put your button through the buttonhole, and there you are. There you have your I-cord bracelet. Very easy, very simple. A great afternoon project. You can also do one strand. This was done on a smaller I-cord maker. You can do one strand with multicolors. You can make it as a bracelet. You don't have to have a button on this one. You just have the string tied. Or you can do several long rows of I-cord and then braid them to make a scarf. And it's nice and warm and nice and fluffy. There you go. Okay, so you have your I-cord bracelet, and don't forget to share your pictures on our Facebook page and come back and watch more videos. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Bye-bye, everybody.